All right, so welcome to my fifth episode commentary. I actually considered not doing a commentary at all this week, but then I recently talked to Catherine, who is my wife's dad, Catherine's dad, and he informed me that these commentaries are oftentimes his very favorite part of the Musecast. So first things first, hello to Catherine's dad. That out of the way, I don't really know what I can say about this episode. Obviously, you know, it kind of speaks for itself. It's a lot of people talking about me, which is always nice. I can always come back to this episode when I need a bit of a pick-me-up. So I guess, okay, here's what I'll talk a little bit about. The original opening was not just me sitting on the Papasan. By the way, Papasan's awesome. Was not just me sitting on the Papasan and kind of introducing that way. It was actually me on the way to my family's house, in the car, saying, you know, hey, I'm on my way to the family's house. I'm bringing my camera along. I'm going to ask them to do this episode with me, and hopefully they say yes. Hopefully we have an episode. And I literally at that point didn't know whether or not the episode what shape it would take. I ended up not using that bit because that bit ended up being about 37 seconds long, and when we cut the video all together, it ended up just running way over 4 minutes, and I couldn't really justify it. And so we figured if we took that out, then I would have just about 9 seconds to do a little bit of an intro. So that's what we did. So that's how that evolved there. Speaking of evolving, this whole episode was actually kind of cool because, like I mentioned, I didn't know what shape it was going to take. I didn't know what the final product was going to look like because it was really driven by members of my family. The only prompt that I gave them was, what are your thoughts on my being in LA to pursue an acting career? And whatever they had to say about that is, you know, what the episode was going to be comprised of. That made it really, really interesting, you know, while we were doing, but also interesting while we were editing it, because I got to kind of tell a story, you know, based on things that I didn't myself come up with, and it was really neat. And I think it kind of this is gonna sound, you know, pompous or you know, just self-congratulatory possibly, but I think that I ended up with a pretty good story. You know, it starts off with all of them reiterating the prompt and then kind of thinking about the question, and then we go into kind of a slow build with my mom talking a little bit about that, and then, you know, it's a few fun little stories, and there's nice little, you know, interchange there, because there was a moment where I knew that I wanted to include my sister's story when I was doing extra work, but I didn't remember that my uncle actually said, you know, and he did extra work. And so the fact that he did, I was able to kind of cut that in to tell a whole story. And also there's a little bit where Catherine says, you know, some good things here, and then my sister, Sunrisa, says, you know, there were some stepping stones and some hurdles, and then Catherine says some not good things, you know, like some difficult things. And I thought that really told a bit of a story pretty well there. So I don't know, I guess it just kind of showed me that, you know, at least in this case, editing was fun, and I think successful, and that was my contribution basically to this episode. And just once again, as I put at the very end of this episode, you know, thank you to my family. Once again, thank you all. Thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving, and thank you all for listening to this commentary again.